The following video and very existence of this channel is made possible by your support over on patreon.com/616entertainment. I couldn't do this without you, and I thank you kindly for keeping the dream alive. Want a kick-ass shirt? Head on over to prowrestlingtees.com/616entertainment and pick one up. Flash yourself back 23 years. Go ahead, I'll give you a second. There we go. It's a simpler time. Maybe you're my age. Back then, I was in like 4th grade. The Sony PlayStation had hits under its belt like Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and more. The Nintendo 64, not to be outdone, is the life of many a late-night sleepover with Super Smash Bros., Mario Party, Pokemon Stadium, and more. It's a beautiful time, man. And know what else was going on around this time?
WWF No Mercy.
The game released in November of 2000 to rave reviews and to this day is considered one of, if not the greatest professional wrestling video games ever made. The end. I mean, that sounds like the end, right? That sounds like we just got to the bottom of this situation, but we didn't. Recognizing No Mercy as one of the greats is common sense, and not addressing its reputation at the very beginning of this video would have felt disingenuous, and that's not what I'm about. Today we're going to relive some memories, we're going to explore the creation and celebrate the expansive features of this title, and before it's all said and done, I guarantee you, you're going to want to fire up this classic one more time. Oh, what's up, Dan-Dans? My name is Ian. Welcome to the Season 3 premiere of Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling game retrospective series. Now, if it feels like it's been a long time since we've had an episode of TXSO, it's because it has been a long time. Almost 2 years, to be exact. I've done over 30 in-depth wrestling game retrospectives. You are seeing them on screen. The links are in the description. You can go back and watch the old ones whenever you want, but we are here today to kick off a brand new chapter. And what better way to kick off a brand new era of Triangle X Squared Circle than with the game that many consider to be the greatest of all time, WWF No Mercy. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. Now, normally, a retrospective on WWF No Mercy should go into the history behind its legendary development team, AKI Corporation. From WCW vs. NWO World Tour to WCW NWO Revenge, over to the WWF with WrestleMania 2000 and into No Mercy, their legacy speaks for itself. I've covered all of Aki's pro wrestling video games in depth on this very channel. Again, examples on screen and links in description. The WrestleMania 2000 episode of this show should practically be considered required viewing before jumping into this episode. I mean, WrestleMania 2000 came first. You gotta be up to date! So let's just assume you are up to date. Let's pretend it's mid-2000. WrestleMania 2000 was awesome, but it's in the rearview mirror. We're seeing commercials for the new hotness.
WWF No Mercy. Perform vicious double-team moves and show no mercy in a high-flying ladder match. WWF No Mercy for Nintendo 64. It doesn't get any better than this.
The hype train is speeding down the tracks. And if you're a PlayStation kid like me, who loved WWF Smackdown and is counting down the days to the release of WWF Smackdown 2 Know Your Role, you're still a little jealous. The Smackdown games were awesome. They still are awesome. They hold up. They hold up better than most games ever made. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. But they don't have that Aki feel, man. In the Smackdown games, we were flying around the ring. Breakneck speed. No selling. That's not how it feels over on the N64 side of the fence. I'll get further into that comparison in a little bit. First, let's look at several of the brand new features WWF No Mercy gained that its predecessor, WrestleMania 2000, didn't have. Come on now, you think I'm not gonna gush about the addition of the ladder match? These were all the rage back in 2000, man. The Hardys versus Edge and Christian at No Mercy 99, Hardys, Dudley's, Edge and Christian at WrestleMania 2000. Let's be honest. These matches had us all jumping up and down like morons, screaming our lungs out for our favorite teams. To be able to craft our own ladder matches, to climb up to the top of a ladder and hurl ourselves off the damn thing like a maniac, it doesn't get any better than that. The suspense of the slow climb, the tension of reaching for the belt suspended high above the ring while your friends scramble to try and dash your dreams, untouchable. And No Mercy didn't simply offer a one-on-one ladder match either. Triple threat? Go for it. Tag team? Yeah, man, book it. Setting the ladder down and slamming your opponent onto it comes with such a satisfying crash. And don't get me started on knocking the ladder over. I said I would talk more about the comparisons between No Mercy and Smackdown 2 later, but I need to touch on it just a little bit right now. Look, in Smackdown 2, which was also coming out right around this same time, ladder matches can be won in a matter of seconds. This never happens in real life. In Smackdown 2, we can't slam our opponents on the ladder, it slips out of the way. In Smackdown 2, striking a ladder that our opponent is on topples the ladder in the blink of an eye, with the opponent falling straight down towards the mat. This isn't what it looks like in real life. When you're watching wrestling, that ladder tips over, falling tree style, oftentimes with the wrestler riding it all the way to their doom. And you know what? WWF No Mercy lets you recreate this. I don't know how big of a deal this was to you, but to me, this was massive. But ladder matches weren't the only new feature. No way. Steel cage matches aren't exactly new, but the design is new. We've left the chunky steel bars of WrestleMania 2000 behind in favor of the more modern chain link look. The cage itself is comically tall, and once again, unlike Smackdown 2, we can interact with the cage during our matches by smashing a wrestler's face off the walls. Okay, I'm putting the Smackdown 2 comparisons away for a while, I promise. We gotta talk about how we can go backstage, dude! Now, is this the first time we could go backstage in a wrestling game? No, that was WCW Mayhem, but I've already talked about that, link in description. Dude, if we're talking about things that were all the rage back in 2000, the Hardcore Championship was in its prime in this era. Guys like Al Snow, Bob and Crash Holly, Big Boss Man, Perry Saturn, and more traded this thing on a nightly basis, and with the creation of the 24/7 rule, where the title was on the line literally every second of every day, this meant that new champions could be crowned anywhere. And again, WWF No Mercy lets us recreate this. Fighting in the hallway is limited, but possible. Irish whipping the opposition in the direction of a doorway leads us to a new setting. The parking lot has a cold, dirty feel to it, and fighting in the back of a semi-truck is something I don't think I've ever done in any other game to this day. Cross over to the bar, and not only is there a pool table that we can smash through like an announce desk, which is hilarious because pool tables have a marble base. This would literally kill somebody. But check out the awesome neon signs on the walls. Man, what I wouldn't give for one of those in real life. In the locker room, we've got more tables to break. Now, No Mercy doesn't have a table match, sadly. All of the breakable tables are set in predetermined locations, but there are tables to break. It's a compromise, to be sure, but at least they're here. We've also got a boiler room, but this is the least interesting area. What we cannot gloss over are the stages. The scale on display here is awesome. These stages feel massive compared to our wrestlers. And the colors, goodness me, the colors. Now, just because I'm showing up on camera right now does not mean that I've run out of new features to talk about. It doesn't mean that I'm switching gears. No Mercy introduced a robust story mode where every championship belt came complete with branching paths and new opponents, meaning multiple playthroughs would come with multiple endings. Let's take a look at championship mode. If you're looking to go after the World Wrestling Federation Championship, you can expect to be involved with top-level stars like Vince McMahon, Kane, we can compete in the Royal Rumble match, and all that good stuff. But setting your sights on the tag team titles or the European Championship proves that with every story comes its own cast. When chasing the Intercontinental title with Kane, the champion, Matt Hardy, was doing everything he could to keep his gold out of my reach. He paid the APA to beat the tar out of me, which is something that actually wound up biting him later. He threw Eddie Guerrero and Chyna in my way. Honestly, he stacked the deck like a true cowardly heel. At the end of the day, I massacred him inside a steel cage at WrestleMania and celebrated with my new belt in front of the sold-out crowd. But hey, round of applause for Matt Hardy for, doing his best, right? Now this is where we need to talk about something crazy. Look, many of you may know that with certain cartridge-based games, save files were not stored on a memory card. Oftentimes, save files would be stored on the cartridge itself. So let's say it's the first week of December and you rented WWF No Mercy from Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or whatever. Your 7 days are up, you gotta bring it back to the video store. The next person to rent this game is gonna be picking up your save file. So if you decided to make Gerald Briscoe the undisputed Eurocontinental light heavyweight hardcore tag team champion of the world, that next person is gonna load up the save and go, what the hell is going on here? And this is where Javon comes into play. Now I'm gonna combine two topics here, those topics being customization and Javon. Let's do the customization part first. One of my favorite things about No Mercy is being able to go in and edit every single wrestler's attire. Everybody has 4 unique looks and we can modify all of them to our heart's content. Remember in 2003 when Triple H started wearing colored trunks here and there? You're damn right I went in and gave him some colored trunks. I had to match his look on TV. When this game launched, Kane was still years away from losing his mask. But eventually, that thing came off.
Is that a human?
And I went into the editor and updated the Big Red Machine. Same deal with Kurt Angle's hair. See you later. This sort of freedom is beautiful, man. And yes, this feature had been around for a long time. We could do this in Aki's WCW games, but that doesn't mean it's any less cool. It's actually improved, too, as we're not just tied to simple legs, body, and head categories. We've got free reign to do elbow pads, knee pads, gloves, glasses. Come on, this is what I'm talking about. We're also able to move around the character select screen and name each collection of wrestlers. Having been a teenager during the draft days and a big TNA fan in the mid-2000s, I have my select screen all jacked up. We've got Raw, Smackdown, I've got a TNA group complete with a Jeff Jarrett and a Raven that I created. I updated the Dudleys to be Brother Ray and Brother Devon. And this is where I put people that I really didn't know what to do with. I should also mention the cool little detail that editing a certain costume will make it appear as the look used in the opening cutscene, so be careful which slot you choose for certain looks. And in that same vein, putting the title on a wrestler in exhibition mode means that's who's going to be carrying the belt in championship mode too, so be aware of how that can screw up the predetermined lines. Seeing someone like Undertaker delivering dialogue clearly written for someone like Stone Cold or The Rock is hilarious. But I've stalled long enough. Let's talk about Javon. Here he is on screen, or this is his created wrestler, at least. He's occupying the same slot as Val Venus though, so he's not even really a created wrestler, he's just an alternate outfit for Val Venus. Anyway, who is Javon? Javon is the person who owned this game before I did. Remember the save files stored on the cartridge conversation from earlier? Yeah, I didn't buy this copy of No Mercy brand new. I bought it used. I had a PlayStation growing up, and I didn't have my own N64 until, it was probably like 2007-ish. Javon here did a great many things in his day. He has left behind a legacy all his own, and a part of this legacy comes in the shape of the Naked Divas. Javon made sure that every female wrestler in the game, without fail, has a skimpy bikini attire, and he changed the color of the bikini to be as close to skin tone as possible. He even went as far as to change their display names. In case you were wondering what the hell we were looking at here, there it is, spelled out. Is this weird? Sure. Was Naked Midian weird? Yeah, absolutely, and that was real life. So maybe Javon was crazy, or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was inspired. Who's to say? I mean, at one point, I changed Farouk's name to Damn because I thought it was funny. We've all got our own little touches. Some are just more graphic than others. Let's say you've edited the roster to your heart's content, though. You've experimented with every outfit you can imagine for Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mankind, and you are still wanting more. More wrestlers, more weapons, more moves. Oh my goodness, do I have news for you.
Smackdown Mall.
Now that's the sound we all know and love, the Smackdown Mall. Now my save file and Javon's former save file, has a number of things already purchased, so we're not looking at an untouched Smackdown Mall here, but you get the picture. Completing story mode paths and survival mode runs earns us cash that can be spent right here. This is where it all comes together. Expand your roster by purchasing the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Embody the world's most dangerous man by unlocking Ken Shamrock. We've got Earl Hebner, Cactus Jack, hell, even the Godfather's Ho is available to purchase here. And yes, the Ho is by far the most expensive unlockable in the entire game. It's not even close. Sifting through the unlockable moves offers a glance at many of the animations from Aki's WCW games, which is always fun. The weapons section of the Smackdown Mall is hilarious. I gotta have the cheese, right? The cheese! I do have a bone to pick with whoever is setting these prices, though. You cannot advertise a product as $800 shirt and then charge $80,000 for it. That's just bad business. And if that's bad business, let's talk about some good business. No Mercy still features my favorite Tombstone piledriver animation to this day. The introduction of weight detection added an awesome level of realism. Watching Funaki struggle to lift Rikishi is cool. But you know what's cooler? When he finally gets the big man up. Hell yeah, Funaki. I touched on the opening cinematic earlier. We've taken a look at some of the cutscenes featured across the championship mode, but let's not forget the winning animations. Not everybody has one, but seeing Stone Cold hit the corners, Kane calling upon the fires of hell, and Too Cool dancing after a hard-fought victory, this is magic, man. It's magic. You'd play a tag match as Too Cool just to see this. I won't sweep the game's issues under the rug, though. There aren't many to speak of, to be clear, but we can't pretend that slowdown in some multi-man matches isn't a bit painful. Even with the addition of ladder matches and Iron Man matches, the game still is sorely lacking in gimmicks when compared to its PlayStation counterpart, WWF SmackDown 2. I would have killed for a Hell in a Cell match here, man. Or table matches. What could have been. The biggest issue that No Mercy ever faced, though, was definitely the save wiping issue. Some of you know about this, but if you don't, I'll educate you. I'll give you the short version. Basically, the story is this. In the first production run of No Mercy cartridges, the first cartridges that came hot off the presses, a lot of them were just broken. And what I mean by that is you could have 100 hours of gameplay logged, you could have the entire Smackdown Mall unlocked. One day you would turn on your Nintendo 64 and it would all be gone. For no reason, there would be no warning, just all of your progress would be completely erased because of a problem with the manufacturing. It's nothing you did. Now, this issue did not persist. It was solved pretty quickly, and anybody who had the save wiping issue was allowed to send in their broken copy for a fixed one, but yeah, that sucks. Now, I personally never saw this happen. None of my friends who owned No Mercy ever experienced this, but just because we didn't experience it does not mean it's not real. It was definitely out there, and if you suffered the save wiping glitch, I offer you my condolences. That sucks. And now we've reached the point of this video where we reminisce. The point where we flash back to a bygone era, moments lost to time, never to be revisited. I've had a blast capturing this gameplay. I've had a good time writing this script and detailing what makes WWF No Mercy so special, but it's not the same. It's not the same as going over to your friend's house for a sleepover 23 years ago. Friday night, maybe Saturday night, any day where there wasn't school in the morning, right? A little bit of pizza going on, maybe a Mario Kart primer to get the night started. It was all there. WWF No Mercy was the main event of the evening. Maybe an over-the-top battle royal with everybody grabbing one of the 4 controllers. Throw the tag team titles on the line in a ladder match for the ages. Jumping up and down during big spots. Audibly celebrating after a win so loud that the parents would pop their head in the room to make sure everything was all good. It was the best. But that's gone now, man. Today we get together online with our headsets. Maybe once in a while there's a hangout session with a Jackbox game or something, but we're not kids anymore, you know? When the Nintendo 64 was turned off and the lights were out, you'd tell jokes that you couldn't say around the adults. Maybe talk about the girls at school a little bit. Simpler times, right? A time before nitpicking about the hair on an in-game model. A time before deep, dark cynicism. A time before bills and jobs. WWF No Mercy is an excellent game. There's zero doubt about that. But I do genuinely believe that a good deal of its legacy, as the greatest of all time, has to do with nostalgia. And that's great. That's not a bad thing at all. But it is what it is. I don't know about you, but I cannot think about this game without flashing back to those times. There's a reason that every new wrestling game that comes out is compared to No Mercy. And there's a reason that the same people clamoring for the second coming will never be satisfied. It's not just weak and strong grapples they're after. It's not just that AKI feel, as it were. WWE No Mercy Reborn could release tomorrow. It could be a copy and paste job with better graphics, and it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same because nothing can take you back to those times. And that's what you're really after. Oh man, and with that out of the way, you know, the sappy introspective part, let's talk facts. The fact of the matter is that WWF No Mercy reviewed like $1 million. Critics ate it up. Fans ate it up. It certainly trounced WCW's video game offering that year. Good lord. And not only did it review like $1 million, it sold like 1 million units. Over 1 million, as a matter of fact. And maybe a sequel would have sold even more. Maybe the sequel would have sold more copies than either of Aki's WCW games, which, if you didn't know, both outsold No Mercy. I feel like that gets glossed over a lot. On the topic of sequels, let's quickly tackle WWF Backlash, the canceled sequel to No Mercy. It's not real. It was never real. I know, you saw a YouTube video talking about a magazine screenshot. It was gonna have Hell in a Cell matches. That's all internet garbage. It's not real. You got duped. Sanders Keel, longtime THQ producer and former cohort of mine on a little show called Wrestling Games Rewind over on ad-free shows, shout out to Stan. Sanders confirmed himself that WWF Backlash never existed. That's straight from the man himself. We all wish it existed, sure, but if wishes were fishes, the world would be an ocean. And last I checked, we're still on solid ground. Although WWF Backlash never existed, although there never was a sequel in the works, that does not mean that this spirit did not live on. It lives on to this day, as a matter of fact, through the wild world of No Mercy modding over on the PC. Now, I've never been a PC gamer, but even I, in like 2007, did dabble in the world of No Mercy mods. I had to see it for myself. I didn't last long. Playing No Mercy on a keyboard was horrendous, and my 2002 home computer wasn't exactly a powerhouse, but that's not the point. The point is that No Mercy MVs were so popular back in the day. Some of these videos I'm showing you right now are nearly 15 years old. The technology has come so far. Mods are still being worked on to this day, and hell, some of you can play WWF No Mercy on your phones. We live in an insane world, man. But even the modding scene isn't the final note, as WWF No Mercy's director, the legendary Hideyuki Iwashita, is serving as a consultant on the upcoming all-elite wrestling video game, AEW Fight Forever. Many games over the years have claimed to be going after that Aki feel. Many have served up empty promises that they had recaptured the magic, only to not come remotely close. Can AEW's debut title, with Gaeta-san behind the scenes, finally be the true successor? Hey, you never know. I certainly don't believe it, not just yet, and I won't until the game is in my hands. But it's fun to wonder, right? I've covered Aki's move into the direction of the Def Jam series many times. I've also noted their evolution into Sin Sophia, a company creating games unrecognizable of their past works. Time moves forward and things change. 23 years ago, when we were looking forward to sleepovers and we were playing those brand new PS1 and N64 games, everything was simpler. But that doesn't mean today sucks. Today doesn't suck. Back then, even with an N64 controller in our hands and No Mercy in the console, there were days that we thought sucked. And in the long run, we know they didn't. So do yourself a favor, even if just for today. Don't let today suck. Take that bubbling cynicism, take that instinct to scoff, and lay the smackdown on it. You deserve a good day. So take that whispering negativity and show it
No mercy.
Oh, there it is, the Season 3 premiere of Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling game retrospective series. Covering WWF No Mercy was a long time coming, and I hope I did not only the game, but you proud with this episode. Join me April 14th for the next episode of Triangle X Squared Circle, where I will be diving deep into WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Thank you very much for joining me here today. If you liked this episode, if you like the old ones, and if you want to see new ones, feel free to support me over on patreon.com/616entertainment. It's not an exaggeration when I say it's your support that keeps this channel alive, and I hope that's something that we can continue to do. You know, times change. Maybe I won't always be doing this, but I know for right now, you guys are allowing me to do so, and I thank you very much for that. And I thank you for joining me here today. Until next time, I love ya, and I'll see you soon.